Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play the Tesla Effect. Well, we're back here on Chandler Avenue, looking at the very nice drifting of the clouds and nice subtle blowing of dust down the street here. Actually, I think that is meant to be fog. Well, San Francisco, it should be fog. But looks like Rook's pawn shop is open, as is the electronics shop, so we can go talk to some more of our neighbors and see how things have changed in the 7 years since we've gotten amnesia. But first things first, we're going to go poke around in Rook's backyard.
Yeah, I used to come back here and shoot hoops until I threw my back out.
10 seconds left. Down by 1. Murphy has the ball. He fakes. He drives. It's a 360. He's fouled.
Or was it my front? Lord knows what I could do with an anvil, but it might be useful.
Yep, we're back to our adventure gaming roots here. Pick up everything that might be useful, even if you don't know if it might be useful.
Ah, yes. Llama Claus would bring packs of cigarettes to all the good children around the world. Why would a little gremlin like Rook have a basketball hoop?
That is a very good question.
It's Rook's hydropod garden. Whenever I see this, I think of Gordon Fitzpatrick from my Pandora case.
I've got anti-hydrogen pods on board, and I've got to get us as far away from Earth as possible.
Pods?
Pods. Anti-hydrogen pods.
He wasn't from around here, or even from this solar system.
Well, half of him was, but that's neither here nor there. And this is a bit of a pun, because Kevin McCarthy, who played that character in Pandora Directive, was also in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where that whole pod thing came from. Wait, was that Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Well, might have been a Twilight Zone episode. Well, whichever one it was, he was in it. And we cannot go into
That's Rook's pawn shop.
Rook's shop from here. But hey, we got some exploration points for that.
No one knows these back alleys of Chandler quite like me. These dumpsters have housed various individuals over the years. It's always nice to know I'll have a place to go if I can't make rent.
Hello, magnifying glass, or... Oh, wait, that's a tennis racket. I'm just poking around here.
These dumpsters have housed various individuals over the years. It's always nice to know I'll have a place to go if I can't make rent.
Okay. I was just looking for a trash can for tradition's sake, because we almost always need to get something out of the trash in this alley. Anyway, I'm feeling nostalgic. Let's go pester Rook, for old time's sake.
Rook's the little gremlin who runs the pawn shop. I've heard that his hard shell is hiding a heart of gold. But if it was, he'd cut it out himself with a rusty soup can lid.
Ah!
Murphy! Here, let me look at you. Louis told me something terrible has happened. I've been worried sick.
Quick update, no touchy-feely, the way we were. Let's go for quick update.
Well, I appreciate the concern, but other than a weird case of amnesia, I'm fine.
But Louis says you're behaving like a totally different person.
The way we were, it's not me, it's you, there and back again. Oh, let's go for the Hobbit joke.
Yeah, according to Louis, I've turned into a real bastard over the last 7 years. I think losing my memories brought the old Tex back.
Oh, Lord. Please don't tell me that lump on your head has turned you back into the pathetic, pestering P.I. I used to know. This is a nightmare.
You think that's a nightmare? Consider that whatever happened that made us change, Rook actually likes us now. Let's see. Sarcastic sympathy. Now I recognize you. Magician's secrets revealed. Oh, let's go with now I recognize you.
Now that's the Rook I know. For a minute, I thought you'd started carrying a song in your heart.
It's temporary, though, right? A side effect? Please tell me you'll be changing back.
Get real. Magician's secrets revealed. A Texmas carol.
Well, one of these nights, you're going to get visited by 3 ghosts, and it's going to be very scary for you, but then we're going to have turkey and everything's going to be great.
Look, Murphy, I'll grant you have some detective skills, but it was all relentless, annoying banter and endless questions to me. Imagine my surprise when, over the past few years, you turned into someone I could actually tolerate.
10 things you love about me. Repulsed by the thought. Webster's Dictionary.
No kidding. So what was it you loved most about the new me?
You cut out all the chit-chat and became a no-nonsense customer who pays in cash. You always seem to have plenty of cash.
Unfavorable comparison. Fair weather friends. Just the facts.
Okay, I'll cut the chit-chat. Just tell me where I come up with all this cash.
All my transactions are done in strictest confidence. That hasn't changed.
Personality comparison. Seriously, a little help here. Unveiled warning.
Hello, the new Tex and the old Tex, they're technically the same. Cough it up.
Fine. Though I don't know anything that could possibly explain what's happened to you. Believe me, I'd tell you if I did. Now I suppose this is where you ask if I mind answering a few questions. But this is not for old time's sake.
Of course not. Okay, well.
You became a sullen, short-tempered bully. And I miss that desperately. I heard a commotion and saw a crazed man running willy-nilly down the street and 2 other men in pursuit.
Well, not often that you see men running around willy-nilly, even in San Francisco.
I was hoping they would tear that flop house down. And they would have, too, if it weren't for that meddling Clint.
Okay, we should probably ask about Clint.
Such an upbeat, chipper little man. Utterly obnoxious. I went there once, never again. What with that herbal tea and incense, it's a veritable gas chamber. Oof. I knew she'd get nothing but trouble being with you.
Well, that much hasn't changed at least.
I'm sure you know much more about that than I. Some say you know exactly what happened. Louis's niece is an absolute delight. What she sees in you is an absolute mystery. A prince among men makes me wish I could still eat solid food. Years ago, after Chelsea disappeared, you came to me looking for leads to some valuable items, among them a lost Fabergé egg. You left the street for a long time. When you returned to Chandler Avenue, you seemed like a different person, darker, more dangerous. I understand you have a thing for holograms. Maybe she's just your type. That's the man you think was abducted? The one I saw being chased down the street? I never heard his name before you told me.
All right.
What is that?
Okay, yeah, Rook's not the most computer-savvy guy.
Maldonado? He puts the PI in pig. I heard you two had something of a rivalry going on. Why would I know anything about that? If the police confiscated it, I suggest you talk to the police about it.
Actually sensible.
Next question.
Well, we had to ask.
Now that Rook's is open, I'll bet his back gate's open too.
Of course, we went back there once already, but, oh, what the heck. Let's see if there's anything else back there.
Well, it's not a Banksy.
Hey, he got rid of the window that got broken. Well, we probably grabbed everything useful that we could get from there.
Rumor is Zack Williams, owner of the electronics shop, is tied to organized crime. Well, we've had our problems in the past. For example, the last time I was here, he shot my credit card into 1,000,000 pieces. I'm hoping he's in a little better humor today and doesn't blow my brains out, or even worse.
Okay, I don't want any trouble.
History lesson, pay debt, same page. Same page.
Well, just so I'm clear, what kind of trouble are you not wanting?
Everyone knows what happens to people who get on your bad side. Only one reason you ever come in here, and it ain't to buy anything. You know all our stuff is junk.
Poor management, time to rebrand, investigate. Well, we're an investigator, let's investigate.
I just want to know what's going on upstairs.
Look, the guys upstairs don't want any trouble either. They said you can have whatever you want at cost. You can even put it on credit. Then I'll just tear up the bill.
Okay. Apparently, we have become such a total badass that the guy who shot our credit card and threatened to do worse 7 years ago is now scared to death of us and willing to let us take anything.
Well, I'm not talking about your bosses. I'm talking about the guy upstairs, the, dead one.
Look, I know how much you hated Maldonado, and I probably shouldn't have let him use the second floor. But he was paying cash, and he kept a low profile. So I thought it was all good. I didn't know what he was doing up there, and I didn't want to know.
Intimidation technique, you better, you bet, humble brag.
Well, let's see what kind of useful information I can get out of you before I try jogging your memory.
You the man, okay? We good? Look, I told the cops I wasn't here, which is technically true. I just parked out back when I heard the gunshots. So I just started the engine right back up and got the hell out.
Okay, nothing useful there.
You live there, so I'm not going to say a thing about it. That place opened up a couple of months ago. Doesn't look like my kind of joint. Let's just leave me out of this, okay? I do love Louie's cooking. Just don't ask what's in it and you'll be fine. All I know is you ain't the same guy that came slinking in here 7 years ago. Sorry to hear about that. Is that what turned you into Mr. Badass?
Apparently.
I think he's the one who came by to check in on Maldonado. Must have been a client. Don't know anything else about him.
All right.
I sell items to customers, not purchase them. Sure, Maldonado was a creep, but his money spent just the same. He said he needed to do a stakeout of the Ritz. Didn't mention any specific names. Didn't sound like a big deal, and he was offering a good chunk of change.
Okay.
I saw him bring in some cameras, so he must have been recording the surveillance. But whatever he had got confiscated by the cops.
Well, let's go ahead and check at the office of the Ritz. And hey, this is spiffied up nicely.
The Presidio. I mean, the Palace of Fine Arts. No, wait, is it the Museum of Science? San Francisco just has too many landmarks.
Oh, hi, Mark. I'm sorry, I can't look at San Francisco landmarks anymore without thinking about Tommy Wiseau talking over them.
The ultimate game of Battleship. It's best not to sit on these couches, but if you do, you better be wearing a hazmat suit. Some pretty intense staring contests have been held right here. Some pretty intense staring contests have been held right here. Heck, Malden. That buffoon always got credit for cases I solved.
Yeah, courthouse opens today.
Time to get a new clock. It's best not to sit on these couches, but if you do, you better... A door between two ferns.
May all who enter as guests leave as friends.
Fat chance of that happening. Do you know what kind of creeps live in this place?
Yeah.
If a bell is on the front desk, I could ring it and talk to the clerk. As I ring the bell, I expect Nilo, but another familiar face pops up from behind the counter. It's Clint. Looks like he's dabbled in some home plastic surgery to cover his empty eye socket. It's amazing what you can do with a tire patch, spray paint, and crazy glue.
Ah, Mr. Murphy. Will you be needing some housekeeping done? I can't remember the last time we saw you around here.
Let's see, recovered chocoholic, and, yeah, update the clerk, new staff, bring up the addiction. Update the clerk.
Yeah, me neither. Don't know if you heard, but I had a little blackout.
I used to get brownouts. Louis' chocolate pie damn near put me in a coma every time.
So, what are you doing behind the desk? Looking for Nilo's complimentary chocolates?
You mean the ones you used to leave on the pillow, right? Those weren't chocolates, my friend. Man, I hope you didn't eat them.
No.
Oh, God.
Nilo, man, I haven't heard that name in years. Not since I bought this place from him. The city was going to condemn it, but Nilo didn't feel like fixing it up, so he sold it real cheap.
Where'd he go? Nilo's hobby, out of business.
Where did Nilo end up?
You mean Nellie? He got a sex change. Yeah, I don't know. He tried to pass himself off as his long-lost twin sister for a while, but that didn't fly.
Ew. Okay, well, out of business?
So, no more Coco Cabana?
No, after a massive bender that ended with me in cuffs outside of the Hershey's factory, I knew I had to change my life. And Preacher Gary, may he rest in peace, he set me straight. Now I just have a little tiny problem with the scotch.
Ah, so that's what happened to Crazy Gary.
So, Crazy Gary's gone to the big distillery in the sky, huh? You're the perfect guy to carry on his legacy.
Oh, thanks. I think.
Well, you've come a long way, Clint. From living in a dumpster to owning your own dump.
But on the bright side, we've exterminated most of the roaches and reinforced the foundation after the big quake last year. And finally got real fire extinguishers, so no more painted-on safety features. We're up to a 3-star cubic zirconia rating in the Mutant Leisure blog spot now.
Yeah, nice little shout-out to the totally flat, not rendering properly fire extinguishers from under a killing moon. So let's see, nitpicky second home venture capitalist.
So how did you afford all of this? I mean, didn't you normally eat up all your profits at the chocolate stand?
It's mostly thanks to you, my #1 tenant. You pay up front, and I always throw in a little extra to make sure I keep an extra eye on your place.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So I'm not behind on my rent? Maybe I should get amnesia more often.
You're paid through the end of the year, just like every year. You hardly ever hear these days, but hey, let me get my nose out of your business. That sounded disgusting. Let's change the subject. What can I do for you?
Well, it's actually nice to see that Clint has reformed himself and is doing well.
You keep being my best tenant, and I'll be your biggest fan. Deal? The cops came by to ask me about that, but I wasn't here at the time.
Okay, well, we won't get anything useful from him, unfortunately.
This may not be much, but it's mine, and I love it. Nice guy, but he's got some screws loose. Dumbest name ever for a shop. Just get the holes patched before you move out, or I will keep your security deposit. Look, I know I used to joke with you about Chelsea being in love with me, but that was just my jealousy talking. That's Louis' niece, right? Tall, brunette. Oh. I've got to steer clear of his diner. Too many chocolate memories.
All right.
Look, I've had my own problems, as you know. I was in a kind of a dark place 7 years ago. Dark, bitter, sometimes nuts, raisins, God help me, marshmallows. Nice girl for circuits and chips. We don't need to talk about that, do we? That was a real tragedy. I can't help you with that. I can barely work a toaster. Maldonado? Nothing but trouble. I steer clear of that hombre.
Well, apparently the word has not gotten around.
Maldonado is spying on you? Are you sure it was you? That little gremlin's never forgiven me for stealing his newspapers and using them for blankets. That guy's all mobbed up, so I keep my distance.
Alright.
Me? I'm just living the dream. One chocolate-free day at a time.
Well, that was fun, but not really helping this out much.
Problem with vid phones is you can't call anyone from the bathroom anymore. Well, you shouldn't.
And you'll note, thankfully, we have these helpful signs to tell us when we can or cannot enter a place. Yeah, might go check with Holly. I'll bet she knows a little something about computers. On strike.
Holly must be out on strike. I'd better come back later to talk to her.
And there's that fog in the distance. Hopefully, Pyramid Head isn't about to show up. Yeah, let's go pester Rook with the new conversation topics we just got.
As I made it perfectly clear, your status as a paying customer earns you a modicum of goodwill. I suggest you use it judiciously.
Sorry, you lost me at modicum. Look, answer a few questions for me and I won't kick your butt when I get my memory back.
Alright.
At least he knows how to keep his mouth shut.
And yes, we totally get points for asking all these questions.
Like I always say, you can take a bum out of a dumpster, but you'll never get a dumpster out of a bum.
Depends on how big the bum is. And oh, just for the sake of a little completeness...
Not again. You're gonna get me fired. Or worse.
Says the mobbed up guy.
That guy's a go-getter. Why don't you get him to answer these questions?
Well, I don't think Louis is going to be much help on the memory stick, but,
Hey, what can I do for you, Murph?
but he's always good for answering questions.
That Holly is a real spitfire. I don't know how I feel about the whole holograms of people too thing, but, yeah, why not? I can't really talk about that. If she died the way the cops said she did, burned inside your speeder, it's just too much to think about. I keep a little hope that maybe she ain't dead at all. Or at least that maybe she died in a more peaceful way. I'm no good with that computer stuff, but that little fella at the barbecue joint is a whiz. I'll bet he could get you taken care of. You wouldn't remember him. He moved into the neighborhood a few years back. Not a pleasant man. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, as Louis once said, he doesn't like to talk bad about people, and he's a big believer in the idea that if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all, which is why he never said anything about Nilo.
So that so-and-so was spying on you. You and I wasn't real close, so I couldn't say why he'd been doing that. Yeah, same old ornery cuss he ever was. Don't bother me none. I guess I'm just used to it. Zack don't come in here a whole lot. I guess he don't like my food much. That Clint's really come up in the wild. Though I still hide the chocolate cake when he drops by. I don't want him falling back into his, old ways. Haven't had another food joint on the street since Francesca ran the Slice of Heaven. I thought it might cut into my business some, but not so far. Maybe we just don't have a lot of barbecue eaters around here.
Well, I think it's pretty clear where we have to go next, since it's the only open business left at the moment. But hey, our PI rating is up to 3 bulbs now.
As I step into Inspector Burns' barbecue, I think I'm having a stroke. But no, burning toast is their special today. Behind the counter is the kid who Louis referred me to as the computer whiz.
Say!
When you come to my house, come down behind the jail. I got a sign on my door, barbecue for sale. I'm talking about my barbecue. Only thing I play.
Welcome to Inspector Burns' barbecue. My name is Mojo. Special today is chili con carnage. It'll destroy your hunger as well as your taste buds. Order when you're ready.
Let's see. Name pun, fairy tale pun, culinary colonoscopy.
A hammy vice, a ham, cheese, and habanero corn dog, deep fried and wrapped in bacon. Does that come with a free colonoscopy?
Hey, you're Tex Murphy.
And you're Mojo. What a shagadelic name, baby, yeah!
My real name is Mordecai Josephus.
Are you serious? Well, that's my real name, too.
No way!
And whenever I go out, the people
close.
always shout.
It's actually Tiberius, James Tiberius. And my mom, she starts calling me Tibby. And, well, I had to come up with something that I could live with.
The ultimate Tex Murphy trivia. You just made my day. Look, I don't mean to geek out on you here, but you're Tex Murphy. Badass private eye. Man out of time. Always quick with a joke or his fist. What are you doing in a dump like this?
Bloody good question. And, yeah. You Trek fans probably got the joke there that, it's been a mystery until now what Tex's real name is. He wouldn't even tell Chelsea what it was. James Tiberius Murphy. Apparently, Tex's parents were Trekkies. Now you know why he goes by Tex. Anyway, Exterminator, hit him where it hurts, state the obvious. Oh, let's go with obvious.
I'm guessing you haven't won any Employee of the Month awards, have you?
Nice. Classic Tex Murphy.
Wordplay, multitasking, strike a deal.
Well, I appreciate you feeding my ego. Now, how about my belly?
Oh, you don't want to eat here. The food really will burn your face off. Inspector Burns is a bitter man. So, what are you working on? Wait, let me guess. Some kind of case just dropped in your lap. Seems like a small-time job, but there are tons of loose ends leading in all kinds of directions, and you are blindly getting nowhere.
Close to the vest, good guess, tagline. Although that is a pretty accurate summation of all of our cases.
Nice try. But this time it isn't a case. It's personal.
Oh, I could help you.
Powers for evil, there is an opening, doubtful.
Well, I guess you could grill the suspects.
You are killing me. Look, Mr. Murphy, you fancy yourself as sort of a timeless classic, a PI archetype for the ages. You know your way around the crime scene, but it's no secret that you're not so good at high-tech gadgets. That's where I come in.
Defensive admission optimism.
Well, I think that depends on what you call high-tech. My etch-a-sketch skills, second to none.
You just keep them coming, don't you? So, what do you think? Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, as a matter of fact... But before we ask him about the memory stick, let's ask him about everything else.
I just can't believe I got a chance to meet my idol. Me and Archie are buds. So glad Archie opened up his shop here. He's like a god at all this conspiracy stuff.
Which is weird, because you wouldn't think that the guy who works in the barbecue place and Archie would get along.
Chelsea Bando. The Nora to your Nick. I wish I could have met her. Inspector Burns has tried to torch the Bruin stew at least twice. Sometimes I spend hours just thinking about what kind of baby she and I would have together.
That's a little bit creepy.
Sorry you lost her, but man, did you ever get an attitude. He's the guy you hired to take photos of your cheating wife. You're the guy they hired to beat the crap out of the guy you catch with your wife.
That explains a lot, too.
You think Maldonado was spying on you? Not surprising. Comes here all the time to eat just so he can complain.
Yep, that's Rook.
He says he likes barbecue, so I'm not sure why he eats here. Like Inspector Burns says, it all tastes the same when your tongue's charred.
Alright.
Sure, I can decrypt a memory stick, no problem. It may take a while, at least a day.
Another item on my to-do list today is checking out Maldonado's regular office that's on the street.
And that is where we shall begin next time. See you then.